So I was listening to this yesterday. Hold on. Put on what I'm listening to. This is what it was. I've been listening to Dan Winter for years. Say it loud, say it proud. I've been listening. I don't always know what he's talking about. I don't always know. I get it. It takes me a while to fully understand it. But some of this is very important on the experience that I had the other day. So I'm in my room and I've got this thing playing. It's coming out of the bathroom. I'm listening to it. And then I backed it up some. Now, it seriously seemed to me, at least the early part of the video, because I haven't fully listened to it all yet, and for lack of any better word to use to change what I'm saying, it was as if they were watching me, and I moved with it. Now, we're talking about our body being an antenna. We're talking about putting our soul back together. We're talking about alternate versions of ourselves not liking us. These things affected me and I felt them. I didn't lose my awareness or sense of myself, but I drastically altered my course and I messed up my whole house. Now, during that process, now on the surface you can look and see there's a mess. Big deal. Now, at the stage I was at, I would have made some mistake. I would have missed something. I know that. I can tell you that. I'm not afraid of it. I had no problem going through it like I did, and I started in an area that I was... Something about it was reserving it. Let's say that. Even my landlady asked me, she's like, what are you doing with his clothes? I'm like, well, I'm not burning or doing nothing with them yet, but I am stuffing them all in this drawer. Now, these drawers over here is the area. Now, I could tell you that in certain areas of the house, when I'm in them, I pick up different things. That shouldn't be that difficult for anyone to understand. I get in a certain different mode. Here's an example. I've got this really old table. And this really old table that I have, is it in here now? I thought I brought it back in here, but I don't see it in here, so I'm not... It was in here. What did I do? Take it back out? I have no idea where it's at then. Oh, yeah, I do. I remember where I put it. Okay. See, that's weird. That's not... It shouldn't be like that. But in a way, I'm discovering now why I'm having this piece of furniture partake in this experience. This piece of furniture has been in the family. It was at the house I was at when I was born. It was there. Where it was a while back caused an effect on me. I got closer to the ground and it almost sucked me to the ground. I walked, or crawled rather, 2 feet, and it seemed like forever. Like everything slowed down and I started picking up this weird sensation that I had had before. I had it before. And it was important. That's all I can say. It was important. Now, some of the things that are now in the distortion field are the guns. Where's the guns? I know where one gun is, and my clip to it is now missing. I can't find them. And one gun I might have taken out. That gun nearly shot me, but I was having the experience and smelling the gunpowder and seeing this experience that wasn't my experience. It was the one they told me about my wife's dad shooting her mom. And I can see more of the details and something was going on with that. I think it has to do with her. Now, I don't personally need the healing. I know it's for her. And I'm not exactly sure what it's doing. Now, I watched her when she came into the environment. I watched how she looked at things and how she reacted and was hyper aware on all the micro movements and shit she made. I was very careful about it. And I was blessed to actually see her again and have her attend. Although I don't feel any victory in having her begin the process and then not start it, I'm not sure what to do about it. I don't want to say I'm angry with her or whatever. I know there's a reason for why she's done the way she's done to some degree, and have just accepted the fact that if she has to go on her own way and has to not deal with anything with me, It's likely to do with emotional shit she can't handle by dealing with me. But I'm proud of her for at least coming, because that's a sign to me that at least it matters. Now, of all the things to matter, that matters to me in a new type of way that I appreciate. She even kept saying, I honored my dad. I honored my dad. She said it like a trauma victim, as if like it was a victory that had to be obtained, and it was like beaten into her that process had to be as it was. So it wasn't like she was telling me in a normal way. It wasn't normal. It was Abby normal and quite strange. I would hope for her to have her awareness in her areas she needs it. I would hope for her to be able to be free and not have to be like, I have to do this and this and that and have what I have and be safe. I'd like her to be more knowing of herself and able to heal her trauma. She does have. And she always has. And I know most of this has nothing to do with me, the process I'm experiencing, but the tendency in something like this to feel and become me is more higher and tempting than ever before because of the pain. Because when I actually start going around and looking and moving around, the moment, and it's the moment that I miss my dad, those fucking emotions pour back in. I cannot tell you they're less. They are stronger. They are so much stronger. They have such a faster effect. And then it moves through me and it's okay. But I'm telling you, I'm being fucking as honest as I can and as serious business as I can. I've never felt anything like that in my life. I don't personally know where it is going. I'm making as fair as an attempt as I humanly can to not either try to wall it off, try to not feel it, but to open to it and let it move through me. And that seems to be the task. Because I feel like I know what's going on. I do. I feel like I know what's going on to some degree. And trusting it is letting me do it. Why do I need to trust? Why do I need to do all that? Look, I'm not entirely sure. There's a big part of having faith that I have, and I have the faith, but I know that you can't really know something and then, put it on faith and then have it happen, and then it doesn't work the same. You have to invest in your faith. You have to build that with your relationship with the invisible. And then you have to work it out, because you can build your faith and then you can act out on faith. And in a way, that's proving your worth to the invisible world, because you did not see what it was and you received. You didn't know if you could take that step and not fall down and off the cliff. You took that step and didn't fall. And you have to use faith for that. Now, if we knew everything, we would look and we would see there's nothing there, so we wouldn't walk. But we're learning to do something we're not familiar with, all of us. My feeling these emotions somehow affects the field of everyone. Now, I know that. I know it's true. It's not a theory. I don't think anymore. Some people are not meant to deal with their emotions. I'm not saying that they can't. I'm not saying that they won't, but it's not for them the same way. We have all different types of people. Now, I've really begun to feel like this emotion thing, because of the nature of emotions and how they are really the power that we have, keeping them free is the name of the game. Because once they get, one of the things I'd got from my higher self or God or whatever was that when I was in between relationships and I was really close to becoming embittered, I was told I needed to put my fish in some new water. because the old water would suffocate me. And the minute my fish dies, I'm embittered and it's done. And I've been keeping something in me that's repressed or upset or not, whatever it is. I don't know exactly. It's in transit because it's in a new sack of water and it can breathe and it's not really worried about now. But as I go through my process, I'm able to articulate that with my environment in a new way to where I can experience the emotions and I can breathe without being suffocated or whatever happens. But it's physically traumatically hard to do it. Now, this one may be the best one because it's the hardest one for me to deal with, the closest I've ever been to someone. And as I go through it and see and read the notes, I actually see that there was a profound change in my dad from who he used to be to who he was. But he didn't have a real sense of, this is my son and why anything beyond that. He knew I was his son, but he didn't know what that meant to me. That wasn't there. There was no loss, though. There was not a loss. There's still a victory. Now, as I go through it, I'm being revealed more of maybe who he was or what he thought before. Now, I'm not sure exactly how to handle that, other than to see that if he didn't end up like that, it causes me a lot of learning, because some of what I see of how I acted and how I did, I can see where I could have done it better. I could see where I didn't even really have my focus on anything correct. I can actually make course corrections and not be beating myself up about it or thinking that I need to go back or any of those loops, because a lot of things we're in loops, emotional loops, and we're not really recognizing it. We go through the same things again and again, and we think that, things are different, and they're not. And sometimes they are. But in regards to this, my dad was going to die. And I knew it. And I'm not trying to bring him back or kick the dead horse. I mean, technically, I'm still in between funeral because, I've got to sit here and I've got these ashes over here on this thing. I'm charging them for 10 days before I do it. So I'm in the environment of this already. It's not left. It's not over. More importantly, the areas that are able to go backwards in time that open up can go forwards in time as well, and way further, all the way. All the way. All I have to do is make it through that process, not fuck it up, take the clues, and know that I'm not going to be fully aware of everything, but I do get what I need at the time that I need it. And that's where I'm acting in faith now. So if you're in a situation like that, I'm telling you, restore your broken pieces of soul. I will put a link to this video in my video. It is badass and profound. And I began to understand some things that he was saying that I've listened to for a long time, because after a certain amount of time, you hear people saying the same words, even when they're technical words. And you've already begun to put pictures of it in your mind because you're trying to visualize something that sounds like what you're hearing. Now, there's some blocks there because I'm just a human. There's some blocks there because I'm not just a human. I am more, and I know that. I'm not just a human. I have a human body, and I have a soul, and it's highly likely that my soul's a lot older than normal people. And I've had to deal with that my whole life. So it's not even like woo. It's like something... It's highly possible, and it's even plausible, and I can see it and things like that. I 25 times it from what the feeling was before, say in the morning. By before noon, I'd already talked to my uncle for an hour and a half, hour and 40 something minutes. And I've never talked to him really in my life. I didn't know some things about him, and I brought some of this stuff up because I was prompted to by my spirit. Some of this stuff up was my dad has a weed business, and I have to take care of it. So I went into that stuff. This is not normal. I wouldn't normally discuss something like that with these people. I would play the family role and act like, everything's fine. Not only have I not known how to navigate this uncle, but my higher self, Christ, told me on Easter, on Good Friday, why not I celebrate Easter as Christmas, as it's a Christ holiday. Well, it is a Christ holiday. You know, and the symbolism of Christ, dude, I'm telling you, when I talked to him, my underworld process began, and I knew it. I said, we're leaving this underworld. We're coming up out of here. I never felt like I was moving with the collective like I was until then. Like someone was leading us out of here, and I'm just one of the people in it, and we're just getting along. And I felt that getting along began, and it did. And I felt it was leaving hell, and it did. Now, my dad died, but he's with us. He's with us in that following. You know, he couldn't take his body with him. And part of me expected that much. But I can take his soul.